Hey everybody, this is a twisted pomegranate that I just dug out of the ground. Have had it in the ground for, man, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, 6 years, 7 years. Been in the ground for a while. I picked it up from my sensei, David Nui. And when I got it, it was pretty leggy. So put it in the ground, chopped it back, just dug it out of the hole here. And we're gonna wash off the roots and get it in a grow pot. Get this thing on the road to being a great bonsai. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna wash out the roots, get all this old soil out of here, and then clean up. I'm gonna cut the roots clean it all up, get some good soil in here, get this thing going. So I'm gonna clean out all this old soil. And then I'll get back to you. Okay, we flipped it over. You see this thing's got some really nice branching on it. And we're going to continue getting rid of this old soil. And then we're going to clean these roots up, get this thing in a training pot or some training mixture. I like to put them in grow bags. But we're continuing to clean up the roots. Now here's something very interesting that I do. I plant whenever I put them in the ground, I put them in gravel. See that gravel there? And the reason why I do that is because I don't want any material that's going to break down while this thing is growing. At the end of the day, if I'm giving it enough nutrients, fertilizing it, gravel is just fine. And as you can see, this thing did just fine in gravel. Now what I'm doing is though, I'm watering it. I'm spraying out the roots. And what I'm looking for is when I hose it, I'm looking for brown dirt actually coming out of it, because there is some dirt in there. I want to get all that out of there because I don't want anything to break down later on that's going to cause rotting in the roots. I mean, I get all up in there with this hose, and I'm trying to get everything out. See that brown? That means there's still something in there. So I keep going until there's no more brown coming out of there. And I mean, I'm giving this thing a good wash in here. I'm getting all the stuff out of there. Because when I put my new soil in there, I don't want any of the old stuff in there. But if there is some of the old stuff in there, it's gravel and it's not going to break down. So anyway, we continue. So now I've got this stands, and this is actually a stand that I used to work on car parts because I work on classic cars too. It's another video. You should really, there's nothing like the look on your wife's face when you bring home that classic car that you never told her you were going to buy. But they get over it, and it's a lot of fun, along with bonsai. So anyway, we're going to take the tree that's been cleaned and washed. You can see all the debris that came out of the tree, and we're going to set it up here, and we're going to actually trim the roots. Okay, so once we get the tree up where we can work with it, what we want to do is we want to trim these roots off very cleanly. Now you can remember, big fat roots do not feed the plant. It is the hair roots. So all those little fine hair roots are what actually are going to feed this plant when it wakes up. So what we want to do is though, I need to trim this back so that of course there's nothing like, let me get some better scissors. But anyway, what I need to do is I need to trim all these roots back so that they will fit in a bonsai pot. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in a growing pot, and I'm going to, there we go. I'm going to put it in a growing pot, and I'm going to let this thing recover because, you know, it's been stressed out, it's been pulled out. And this is an interesting thing here, this little thing here. That guy right there is actually an ash seed they got in there, and that sprouted. So we're going to have to deal with him in a few minutes here. But you can see that the tree has got some really nice twists and definition. It's got some deadwood I'm going to have to deal with. The deadwood on these twisted pomegranates is not exactly, it's not hard wood. It's actually very soft wood, so we're going to have to deal with that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through. I'm going to trim this root ball up. First thing I'm going to do is go after these big heavy roots and just kind of trim them off. If I see any little hair roots, I'm going to try to hang on to them because those are the roots that are going to feed the tree. And if I see anything like this root right here, this is a new root. Now, it may be kind of tough for me to not break it because they're very, very fragile when they're first popping out. But that's the new root, and it's got all these little tiny little. Let's see here. There we go. So all the little tiny little. You can see all the little knobs on the side, which are going to be the roots that split sideways. So we're gonna go ahead and get this root ball trimmed up, and then we'll be ready to put it in a root bag, and then we'll talk about what kind of a medium we're going to put it in. Okay, now it's important to get rid of any roots on the bottom that are going to stick out and make it really hard for you to get this tree into a nice shallow pot. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm going through here and I'm looking for all these really hard roots, like this guy here, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to prune it off. So let me see here. So for example, I'm looking here. There we go. I'm looking here and I'm seeing that guy is going to be a problem. There's some more really thick stuff here that I'm going to have to get rid of. Boom, just like that. Nothing heavy. I don't want anything heavy sticking out. So I'm going to just go through and there's some dead stuff here and there's some thick old stuff. This tree is probably, this tree is over 50 years old from what I'm told. I believe it. It's got a nice thick trunk on it, and I've worked on the ramification a little bit. I'm going to keep thinning this thing back. Sorry, my camera work's not very good. I'm going to keep working this thing back and get rid of a lot of all this heavy stuff in here. I want to get this thing so it's pretty thinned out with these big ropey roots, leaving only these thin roots, and then I'm gonna get this thing in a bag because I don't want it to dry out. All right. Okay, we're gonna give this thing one more wash. I've kind of trimmed out all the big bulky stuff. Left a couple things, a couple big roots here. The roots that you can see from the surface, I've kind of left. Now this one here, I didn't know whether to take it off or not, but I just kind of left it because I can angle this thing so that it kind of goes down in the pot. If it's a problem, we can always take it off later. But any roots that I can see from any nabari, I can see from the top, I tend to leave. Anything underneath that I'm not going to see, I can just remove. And you can see I've tried to get rid of the heavy ropey stuff underneath. So I'm going to wash it off one more time, and time to get it in a grow bag. Now this is something that happens a lot. You get your grow bag out, you want to put it in, and the tree is a little bit too big. So I'm going to trim this thing down so that it fits in this grow bag. Tree should be fine. I'm going to leave plenty of small roots. Once I know that it fits in the grow bag, then we will get the medium. Look at that twist. Isn't that something? That's something too. But anyway, isn't that nice? Look at that thing. All right. Okay, it fits now. Always sift your medium. I start out with a layer of what's called Hugo. It's kind of this really big pumice, and it's going to go on the bottom. But you got to sift it because the dust will plug up the holes in your grow bag or whatever you got, and that stuff will turn to concrete. So you got to sift it and put that layer in first. So the next thing I use is this black scoria lava rock, which has been sifted. I like it because it drains really fast. You can water it every day and the water just runs right through it. So in the summertime, I can run the sprinklers a few times a day. Water goes all the way through, no problem. Fertilizer, I use liquid fertilizer. I just fertilize as much as I want, washes through, plant takes what it needs. That's next up. Okay, now, so the tree is sitting in pumice and a little bit of the volcanic scoria. The main thing here is the tree needs to be able to stand up on its own before you start doing anything. And it needs to be deep because I want these big roots that I cut to actually sprout. So I'm going to plant this thing pretty deep in this grow bag here. And as you can see, it's standing up, and it's looking pretty good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to put in the lava rock. The other thing I'm doing is just, let me just mention this. I'm going through and I'm making sure that the roots are clean, because that's important. This is the time, if you got anything sticking up weird, you know, you're going to go ahead and cut those off. Like these guys here are kind of sticking up weird, so I'm probably going to cut those off. You can see right here, there was one growing up. If I can get this thing to focus, right there. And I cut it off because it was coming up in a weird angle. So I'm going to cut off anything that's growing up weird. This is the time to do it. And then I'm going to plant this thing deep and let it recover from all this pruning and everything that's been done. All right, here we go. Okay, now we've got this thing filled up with our scoria. And now we have to get it down in between the roots. And what you're going to find is, once it gets down in there, you don't have enough scoria. And I use 3 big buckets, 3 big Home Depot Harbor Freight buckets of this stuff to fill this thing. And I mean, it's amazing how much you need. So the idea here is we just kind of work it around in a circle. We want to get it all the way in between all the roots. Then we're going to come back and fill it up again. So there you have it. The twisted pomegranate's been pulled out of the ground. It has been put in a grow bag where it will start to flower, and then we start really working on the ramification. Here's another twisted pomegranate that I've been working on. This one's already starting to pop out. That's what let me know it was time to get this one out of the ground. You want to dig them up before they start popping out. And this one just barely started popping up, but not much. So I will keep you posted on how this thing is going. It's you can see it's got a really nice thick trunk, and it's starting to twist. I got some dead wood in there I'm gonna have to carve out. Not a big deal. And then I'm kind of leaving this thing going up the top here, you probably noticed, because I want to try to kind of shape the apex just a little bit, draw a little energy up to the top, but I may not even need to do that. This thing is pretty developed. So anyway, that's it for now. The twisted pomegranate. See the back side here? I don't even know where the back is, really. This may even be the front. Who knows? Who knows? It's a little heavy. So now we're going to water it. And once it starts to pop out, we'll give it just a little bit of fertilizer, just kind of encourage it. And we'll see you on the next video. Now, if you like it, if you like this video, you can hit like. You can hit the like button if you like. I don't care. I don't get any money for this. But if enough people like it, I'll come back and do some more. Anyway, for now, this is Marcus and his bonsai out.